How long have you been in here? You were here all along. Well, you snuck in pretty well. I mean, hey, I didn't see you there. And what does it look like I'm doing? I'm trying to find a way to ruin my reputation.
Oh my god, is that Fayko? I heard he does verbs and shit.
Damn, they had me to a T. If only there was something that had an unfair stigma around it, based on a few weird examples flown online, maybe produced in a way that's normally associated with children. Uh-huh.
Anime is such a huge medium, but oddly enough, it's the only one where you have to ask the question, where do I even start? Come on, think about it. People don't normally ask, hey, I want to start that whole movie thing. What's a beginner-friendly one?
Are you familiar at all with Sonic the Hedgehog?
Of course, a lot of people happen to like a show that happened to be an anime and their life went downhill from there, but there have been a lot of people that wanted to start watching anime but were too turned off for one reason or another. Some people just see a lot of art styles they aren't crazy about or aren't fans of repeated settings in anime, like how much the medium loves the fantasy setting. They may find the cultural differences from Japanese entertainment a bit of a hurdle, or sometimes just starting an anime is a big commitment and they don't want to waste their time on something they may dislike giving it a complete chance.
Interestingly enough, those are all good reasons to get into anime, but those are also answers that people not too crazy about anime gave me when I asked why they didn't watch it. Oh, one person also said, "How did you get in my house? I thought I told the security guards about you. This better not be about Grimgar again."
But hey, this medium's at an all-time high right now and I want to see it grow even more, so I just want to give some suggestions for shows that may be a great introduction to this form of entertainment. But a note before I even get started, you can start with any show you want. Plenty of common streaming services have a good variety of shows that you can pick at random, or you can check my anime list for what you may like. Or hell, you may already be a fan and happen to catch a random show and loved it because you had no prior issues with the medium beforehand, you just weren't familiar with it. These are just my personal ideas for what could be a great place to start for someone who wants to ruin their reputation, for someone who is curious about these types of shows.
You know, the show's whole message is that you should pay an equal value to something that you receive. I agree with that, except there's an exception. Did you know if you go to a store and you can run faster than the security guards, you can get whatever you want for free? Where'd my arm go?
If you've ever asked anyone where you should start, there are two options.
Oh yeah, just check out either of the Full Metal Alchemist shows.
Or...
oh, you had a good run, but I guess I'll put you out of your misery.
Full Metal Alchemist is just perfect for starter anime fans. It's the anime I started with personally, and I only hold a little bit of resentment towards it. What I think makes this show the best to start with is you can explore so much of the extended experience of being an anime fan while staying comfortably in just this one property. You have two coherent shows that follow different stories that are in separate canons that have their own OVAs, multiple movies, an easily accessible manga series, and I learned about these recently, but apparently light novels as well. I mean, they aren't the easiest to find, so I guess it's not because I'm not observant, so that's pretty cool at least. I always wanted this award. But there are more reasons to start with FMA. If that's all it took, we would just be recommending Sonic X right now, and I know you aren't ready for Sonic X. I've never met anyone who was prepared for that though. Full Metal Alchemist almost feels like a sample platter of what anime has to offer. You have your shonen fighting with a power system, you have well-developed romance between characters, you have intense drama, you have government rebellion. Woo! Rebellion! You hear that, government? I'm gonna swim after I eat and I'm gonna keep evading taxes! Also, the character development from the start of the show to the end of the show is amazing to witness. It's not like, oh, here's a list of issues that these characters have and hey look, they're solved now. It's like, you see these characters mature as the story goes. I mentioned it earlier, but again, the power system that's so simple but it's rock solid and can be used in so many different ways. But it never breaks its own rules established at the start, at least without an explanation. Both Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood are so easy to get invested in, and I could easily suggest it to anyone even if they aren't too interested in anime. And I mean, hey, it's one of the highest rated anime on my anime list for a reason, so I might be onto something here.
I actually got my hands on an old Death Note, found it at a yard sale, whatever, don't worry about it. But just so if I lose it, people can give it back to me, I'm gonna write my name in here. And what the hell did I just do?
I don't think there's ever been such an intense anime that still feels so grounded, to the point where it wouldn't stick out under any live action attempt, never mind Death Note has such a solid core concept that the idea itself could be potential for any number of stories, shown by a very interesting one-shot sort of sequel chapter. The premise revolves around a notebook that if you write someone's name in it, they die. You can specify how and when they die.
Isekai, damn it, I accidentally wrote PC quesadilla.
That idea is interesting, do not get me wrong, but what makes this show great is the characters and the fantastic character writing that goes into them. Light Yagami, also known as Kira, is just a perfect example of a descent into madness. He starts off with good intentions as far as he's concerned, kill all criminals, make the world a better place by doing so, but then we get a little take on to do good, die great, and we get become God. His goal of ridding the world of people who commit crimes gets overshadowed by his desire to win and be seen as a god. Yeah, it isn't a slow descent as in he's already screaming about becoming God 10 seconds after he gets the notebook, understandable because I react the same way.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the one who won the Applebee's gift card.
We also have the very iconic L, who doesn't care too much about the morality of Kira's actions, but instead is just more concerned about how interesting a case this hard would be to solve. While he doesn't have a descent or ascent like Light does, he doesn't need one because the way he acts on camera is already just so interesting. No matter how many brilliant things he does, you never expect him to be as smart as he is. Because of both characters' cunning and determination to win, their plays against each other match the intensity of a shonen battle. Also, I think it should be legally mandatory to see the potato chip scene at least once in your life.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Don't worry guys, I know how to end a story a lot faster than 180 chapters. Dysentery. What, I didn't say it would be a good ending.
I love saying brand new sentences. Let me try right now. Death Note and Dr. Stone are good for the same reason for new watchers. Dr. Stone is an entire anime based on a very interesting concept. If all modern technology was just gone, how would we go about bringing society back to where we were? That isn't exactly the premise. To be more specific, all of humanity was frozen in stone, and it took 3,715 years.
Or about how long it takes for 5 Berserk chapters to come out.
For our protagonist Senku, who's a super genius and knows how all modern society works off the top of his head, to be free. And the show follows him and the people who follow him while he uses modern technology to solve his problems and paved a way of freeing other people trapped in stone still. This show is most interesting for that idea to me, and the way it handles bringing technology to a primitive world and the moments that come with it. While the anime can get a bit crazy at times, like just how much the main character knows and how powerful some others are, like being able to punch a line and kill it, which is only the most metal way to measure how strong someone is. The best qualities from it come from how connected to reality and humanity it is. I can think of some of the best moments that stick out to me personally in anime, whether that be iconic or just things I like. Dr. Stone has moments on that level to me in terms of emotional impact or excitement, and it isn't nearly as tense or as high stakes in that moment. I mean, yeah, swinging a sword with shattered arms is cool and all, but what about that feeling you get in your heart when remnants of modern society and people who live basically a caveman life see electricity for the first time? But the build up to get to that point, the feeling of all of that matches your favorite shonen fight, but it's a battle against progression rather than specifically always being about defeating an enemy. These moments in Dr. Stone are rock solid.
You're mad at me, and I still don't regret that joke at all. I regret it a little.
There are the fantastic moments and the premise, but they wouldn't be as great without the characters specifically. Senku is a genius who just has an amazing on-screen presence who gets you as excited about scientific concepts as he is.
Hell yeah, vacuum tubes!
There's Taiju, who's respectable for his very strong principles, but he's also just a giant goof. There's my favorite character, Asagiri again, who's just a master at anything mental. And we also have people from the village, who I won't spoil how they got there if all of humanity was petrified, but not only are they just great characters, they're also a great lens of how much a sudden progression would feel to experience. Dr. Stone is a great anime to start with for similar reasons and unique reasons for any of the other properties I talked about, and I recommend them all to anyone whether you have watched one anime or 100. Because while they're good to dip your toes in, they're still very good if you just haven't watched them but you've watched basically everything else. Well, I learned 2 things today. If people like you, you don't have to go out of your way to try to get them to not like you. Also, if you have conversations in your room by yourself, that will kind of do it automatically. Second, that Death Note doesn't even work. It's been 40